Guys, welcome back to another video. This time we're gonna start a new F1 2020 mic team career mode season. I got my mic working good, so that's a plus. So for the sponsors, we're gonna choose for our team name. I thought we would go with the name very similar to our channel, so like exactly the same as our channel. So like Formula Gaming or just Formula Gaming. That should be a pretty good team name. Guys, our primary sponsor, as I said, we're gonna go with Loop. I mainly choose Loop because they had a pretty high sign on the side of bonus, and goal achievement bonus was pretty high. I honestly think it wasn't that hard. The goal was to get 5 points finishes as a team, which I think is doable over the season. So that's the main reason I chose. I was considering this goal, but then it chose against it because the weekly goal bonus seems too undoable. I wanted the start of our Q2 strong, so like I went with the Mercedes bar unit because they were pretty big sign on bonus. And for the driver, we had a lot of money left, so I went for the highest one available, which was Jack Atkins. Let's confirm that. Next, our car's livery. I chose another custom the default liveries because I didn't want to change too much of that. We can change it afterwards once we get some more sponsors. Uh, for I already made us a logo off camera just to make it easier while filming. So I think it looks pretty cool. And that's the only reason I chose it. Another reason for the team colors, I was heavily inspired from McLaren. Uh, I mean, I think the Papaya orange is a pretty cool color, so that might also fit with it. So we're gonna jump right into the season from Australia. I did the qualifying and practice off camera, so we can start off directly with the race.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal. And it's make or break here at Albert Park, home of the Australian Grand Prix since 1996. And home to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. Can Mercedes start with victory in their bid to win a 7th consecutive Constructors' title? Could Ferrari or Red Bull establish an advantage early on? And with 22 cars on the grid, how quickly can the new team find their footing? Well, it's great to be back, Anthony Davidson. We've got a lot to talk about this year.
That's right, Crofty. It felt like a long winter, but it's good to finally be back. I have to think the usual suspects will battle it out at the front, but there are always going to be some teething problems early on in the season, so whoever can keep on top of their issues will have the advantage today.
As I mentioned earlier, we're up to 11 teams this season, with a new entry run by, well, of all things, an owner-driver. That's something we haven't seen in this sport since Hector Raback over 4 decades ago. So how are they looking so far?
It's hard to imagine how a small operation like that could survive in the ruthless world of Formula One, and yet here they are, first ever race looking surprisingly strong. But there are no points for qualifying. Let's see how they fare in the Grand Prix proper.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Sainz, Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel and Perez, Leclerc, Stroll, Norris and Alexander Albon, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Esteban Ocon and Magnussen, Gray, Gasly, Antonio Giovinazzi and Roman Grosjean, Raikkonen, Aitken, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are as we line up at the grid. I've taken a 5 place grid penalty because of a mistake I did in qualifying, unfortunately. It's one red lines. Two, three, four, five. And the race is underway. We got a pretty bad start and we're overtaken by most of the grid behind us right at the start. Honestly, I think this is one of my worst first laps, but we nicely finished. We nicely finished Grosjean and overtake. But we tried to attempt to dive from, but crash into Albon. This will be a very big disadvantage for us. We have gotten major wing damage, and now we can't steer that properly. We're going super wide. We'll have to pit this run. This is going to throw the whole pit strategy in array. Uh, I think I think this is the point where I like lost the whole race, and the safety car already. So like, if this is not an indication of how hectic the race is gonna be, I don't know what will be. So in this, I just slowly, obviously trying to abide with the safety car. I drive to the pit lane, the stripping car. Much I can do about it. I just have to walk as they get past me. I got super unlucky. I thought I could get through the cheeky pit stop during the safety car, but like the safety car ended within one lap. So I have to do the pit stop during a normal lap. Nothing much happens till 2 laps later when the DRS is re-enabled. At this point, I start getting worried that Magnussen will be catching up with us and will try to overtake us. So I start driving a little bit more aggressively. Over here, I'm going like super heavy on the ERS because as you can see, Magnussen is inside the DRS zone. It's like the only way of avoiding him at this point is ERS because my car doesn't perform as well as Magnussen's, and plus he has DRS. That's like a dangerous combination. Even over here, I didn't use ERS because I thought I had built up a gap, but that was the wrong decision by me. Let's see how much Magnussen covered up. He came to about 4 tenths behind me. At this point, I noticed I was using lean fuel and not regular. That explained a lot why I wasn't able to get away from Magnussen. Now, at the start of this lap, I made so many mistakes, which like made Magnussen almost overtake me multiple times. My first mistake was right over here. I turned in too late, going all over the grass, reducing a lot of speed. Magnussen was able to come to 3 tenths behind me, and lastly, he was just about a second behind me. I was really getting worried at this point, and worry doesn't make good decisions, and my performance kept going down the drain. But luckily, these few corners I chained together pretty well, and I was again able to gain at least a second on Magnussen. Now Magnussen started challenging me a lot, and I was honestly getting ready to get past, but I had to keep it clinical, and I couldn't let a crash happen because this would totally ruin any more chances I had in the race. So I kept it clean. I gave him all the space he needed, and luckily was able to defend against him. 2 laps later, we got the notification that our teammates was in the pits. So this was one of the benefits of our crash, if there were any, that we would be able to overtake at least a few people in the pits because we had already completed a pit strategy. Unfortunately, we weren't able to catch anybody inside the pits, but it closed up the gaps. And I quickly overtook Russell and started chasing behind Grosjean. And I got the job done. Even though it could have been a little cleaner, I didn't get in front of it. And just in time, as the VSC came out, that means he won't be able to overtake me. I still have to improve my driving, but I think I'll get better. So Lance Stroll is out of the session due to engine issues. I mean, who gets engine issues on the first race of the season? Anyways, so, so they're out. That triggered the VSC. But I don't know what's with this game. The VSCs are like super short, and as soon as the VSC starts, it almost ends. Over here, we can see Grosjean butting heads with us, trying to get in front, but we have defended nicely. We actually got a jump on Latifi, who was stuck inside the pits, and due to a penalty. Nothing much really happens for the rest of the race. I tried to gain on Raikkonen, but that doesn't happen, so I just focus on keeping a good distance away from Grosjean. Anyways, let's ride the last 2 laps together. At this point, I had a lot of fuel left, so I was still trying to catch up on Raikkonen, but I just noticed after the race that he was too far gone, and me trying to catch up to him made me drive rash, and that might have made me lose a lot of time to Grosjean instead of catch up with Raikkonen. at this point I was so into the race, I thought that the race was over because I didn't read the lap charts correctly, and I was like so surprised when my engineer said final lap. So that's why you could see me go to the right, but then because it was completely offline, so that's why you could see me go to the right. Because that's usually what I do at the ends of races. You get a perspective on how far back you were when you just start the last lap and you already see that the leading car has already finished the race. Now this is the actual finish of the race, of the last lap. I honestly think I could have done better. I could have at least come in the top 10, but if it wasn't for that crash, but like life happens, what can you do? I think Bahrain will be much better. The next race is Bahrain. I will put some things up for development, so we should have some chassis development. That's the main area where I was struggling this time. Honestly, is anybody surprised by Mercedes 1-2? It's like routine now.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Let's see what effect this result has had on the driver's standings. Valtteri Bottas passes his...
Thanks for watching this video. Check out the video on the left. It's a video on a game called Deliver Us to the Moon. I'll probably upload again in a week. It will be about the race in Bahrain. Again, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.